Hey guys, welcome to this video, actually the series of video focusing on PPC. My name is JC. I actually work with The Heights, founder of The Heights. We focus on sales funnel consulting, marketing, sales, and every bit of the process to help companies grow their businesses. Now, before we get started, I understand this RankDaddy, we're all about SEO here, but there are essential pieces where PPC comes in really handy. Whether that's, hey, I need to get immediate results for my clients like this month, or perhaps a client just really needs it, or it's part of their holistic strategy. In order for you to bring on this client, you need to offer them more services. So there's going to be 4 parts to this little mini series within RankDaddy. Number 1 video, this video is going to be kind of a holistic approach to AdWords. What is it? What is Bing a little bit? We're going to dig into a couple of different items on who the best industries are and why 4 reasons why I love AdWords. Video number 2 is going to be all about building that foundation, so actually launching a PPC campaign. In this series, we're going to focus on local AdWords campaign, so a local lead gen AdWords campaign. And so we're going to build a campaign in video number 2. Number 3 is going to be taking that great foundation that we built and optimizing it, right? Because if we're not building upon the data that we're collecting, if we're not utilizing all the information we're gaining from the AdWords campaign and building upon it, it's virtually no use. And then video number 4 is going to be all about how to outsource your PPC, what to look for, who I recommend that you go to and hire out, and how to get that started, right? So you can immediately start building up your PPC clients. Now, before I go any further, if you already have some type of minimal foundational information on AdWords, skip this video. Go straight to the next one. If you already know how to launch a campaign, you're struggling with just continue a campaign, making it better, skip to video number 3. If you don't care about any of it and all you want to do is outsource it and you don't really care at the moment, skip to video number 4. This content is for you, not for us. So feel free to go wherever you want, right? So the number 1, by far, the number 1 search engine for PPC is obviously Google, right? They contain about 80% of the market, and that's what we're going to really focus on today. But I think it's important to also look at some of the other sources, such as Yahoo, Gemini, and Bing. Bing, in fact, has had some major progresses in the last couple of years. And I use Bing actually quite a bit in clients that I serve. For instance, Google tends to trend towards a younger audience. This younger generation, they all use MacBooks and their iPhones and things like that. They're using Chrome 90% of the time, but your older generation, what do? They're buying a lot more Dells, they're buying a lot more PCs. They're taking them and then out of the box, they're using Bing, right? They're not going and installing other browsers. And so you have a huge, wealthy, very powerful audience in Bing. In fact, Bing's conversion rates tend to be higher. Their cost per clicks tend to be lower. And the actual CTR, all the metrics tend to be better on Bing. The only issue is there's not a lot of traffic there. There's not a ton. And so Bing is a great resource, but I think it's for another video. So jumping into AdWords now. So let's talk about industries. Let's talk about some that I think work really, really well and what I've seen a lot of great results on. Let's talk about determining a budget. And let's close with just kind of 4 top reasons kind of to finalize why we should be using AdWords in 2017 moving forward, right? So industries, local industries tend to work by far the best. Why? And they're the easiest to set up, they're easiest to maintain, they're the easiest to compete with. Why? Because it's just that. There's not a lot of competition. If you're a local lawyer in Little Rock, Arkansas, you're probably not competing in AdWords with lawyers in every other state in the United States, right? You're not competing, with Jim in China versus an e-commerce campaign where you're selling t-shirts, you're selling something, you're competing with everyone in the world, right? So local lead gen where we can have lawyers in Arkansas, lawyers in Little Rock, we can define it as much as we want. We can go by zip code in AdWords, we go by state, we can go by territory, multiple states, so on and so forth, right? In another industry, so you have lawyers, you have dentists, a great one, which is kind of unusual in today's world because of Uber, but driving companies, transportation companies work incredibly, incredibly well. Plumbers work incredibly, incredibly well. And the reason being, for those industries, most people aren't searching unless they have action, they have a reason to buy now. You know what I mean? So most people aren't going online searching for a plumber just in case they need one 6 months from now. Versus a lawyer, they may search, they call, they buy, or they think about buying, they call for a free consultation, and then like 6 months later, they make a decision. A plumber, when you call, you need one. And so really, if they just give a good price and answer the phone properly and things like that, you're gonna have a quick sell on that. E-commerce now. E-commerce is a much bigger picture, and I'm really hoping that at a later point we can bring on some videos launching an e-commerce campaign. But again, e-commerce, if you're just now starting out, if you're just now getting started, I would not jump into that world yet because it is a bigger beast. You are literally competing with the world. So determining a budget. So I've got a lawyer that comes in, I got a dentist that comes in, and I want to determine a budget for these guys. So let's talk about this. Now, as we've talked about before, launching the campaign is just step number one. Optimizing a campaign is really what it's all about. To give you an example, let's say we did a survey. Let's say we did a survey and we went into a small town in Arkansas and we said, okay, I'm going to interview 10 people and I'm going to see what is their favorite food, pizza, hamburgers, or hot dogs. And all 10 of those people said pizza. And then I went out and I made this publication that says every single person in the United States that I interviewed, true story, every single person in the United States that I interviewed said they loved pizza. Therefore, by the data that I am proving to you, everyone, on average, by data, loves pizza. My statement is true, right? The premise is right, but there's not enough data to really make that decision. In fact, that's a stupid analogy because there just really isn't enough data. It's the same thing with AdWords. If we don't have a proper budget, if we're only getting 50 clicks a month, 25 clicks a month, there's not enough data there for us to make decisions and optimize a campaign, where we actually look and say, hey, did this ad perform better or this ad? Is this keyword performing better or this keyword? We have to have enough data to make decisions. So based on that, what we try to recommend is anywhere, ideally around 150, 200 or more clicks is the best budget. So let's just say for 200 for now. So you go into the keyword planner, which we're gonna show you in the next video. We're gonna go in the keyword planner. Let's say the average cost per clicks we determine is around $2. So $2 for cost per click. Well, if we're looking for 400 clicks in a month, 200 clicks in a month minimum, 200 clicks in a month is going to be around $400 budget. If you're looking at a lawyer or a higher industry where it's $20 a click, 200 clicks, we're going to need on average about $4,000, right? So do the math. We need enough clicks, right? And every time that click happens, that's somebody to our website. We need enough clicks to make quality decisions. Now, an absolute minimum for the companies that I work with and my company, in fact, alone, the minimum we go with is 100. The minimum, but we have to set the right expectations there, which again, we'll talk about later in the next video. So, easy to determine a budget for a client. We're going to look at ideally 200 clicks, look at the average cost per click, multiply it out, add your management fees, and that's what budget we're going to look for, right? Now, also, there's very, very important to understand your customers' margins. So there's several questions that I like to ask clients. Number one, what is your closing ratio? So if I get you 10 calls, how many out of those 10 calls will you actually close, right? Because this is important. We're a marketing agency. We're doing marketing with PPC, SEO, all these things. But unless your client can close it, it probably doesn't matter to them, right? So what is your closing rate is the first question I ask. And then the number two is what is your margins? Because at that point, I can really determine whether or not we can be profitable and have a good shot. I also at that point know my minimum value approach, right? And so the cool thing about PPC is that we can get results in month one. Versus in other forms of marketing, sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 months to really get us into that profitability stage. Right? Let's go through this. Let's say we have a company and they're a lawyer, and they, on average, and you got to force them to tell you what their average is. On average, their ticket price is $3,000. And then on average, our cost to serve that client is $1,000. So therefore, you have a lawyer or you have any other service, they're profiting $2,000 every time you get them a client. So $2,000 profit. They tell you then that, hey, JC, boss, I actually close 1 out of every 20 calls. So I get 20 people that call me, 20 people that are interested, and normally I can close 20, okay? So what does that mean? That means that their cost per acquisition, right, or their profit per acquisition, excuse me, is around $2,000. But if it takes them 20 leads, that means their cost per lead at break-even point is $100 a lead, right? So 20 leads times $100 equals $2,000, which is what they profit. So in order for us to break even with our marketing campaign, we at least need to get them leads at $100 a lead. Anything below that, and we're really looking good. Now, it's always good to point out this doesn't include that client maybe referring someone. I always like to ask, what's the referral rate that you have in your company? And then the longevity. Is this client 50% likely to come back for a second service or a third service, right? But just keeping it simple for now. I want to know these ratios so that I can set the right expectations for our clients. At the end of the day, our clients care about sales. Our clients care about the end number, the actual revenue, right? And so it's very important for us to understand that whole picture so that we can make a sound decision. So we have industries, we have budgets, and now I want to show you 4 things, I really want to wrap up this video. I want to show you 4 things, 4 reasons why I personally am always driven towards PPC, especially when I'm first building that relationship with a client. Number 1, AdWords is measurable. We're going to teach you in the second and third video, analyzing data is everything. And we will be able to measure every point, every click, every impression, and we're going to be able to give perfect data from the get-go. Number 2, it's fast. It's fast. You can normally, if you get good at this or you're outsourcing it, you can launch a campaign within a day, which means you can have your client on top of AdWords pretty much immediately driving traffic to their business. So much, much faster. Number 3, control. Control of your budget. You can control where your budget on keywords, your budget on ads, your budget. Every bit of your budget is going to be completely in your control, down to the click, down to actually driving people to your business, right? Driving people to your website. And then number 4 is competition. It's about dominating the competition. According to Moz, 80% of searches today have AdWords placements in them. 80%. Also, according to Moz, 85% of searches above the fold, 85% of searches above the fold are all ads. They're all ads. So if you want to drive traffic to your business, get it done quickly, AdWords is gonna be right for you. So in conclusion, you're going to have an incredible, by the end of the series, you're going to have an incredible setup, which is number 1. You're going to have incredible optimizations. We're going to learn how to do that together. And then tracking. Tracking I haven't mentioned a lot yet, but we will be talking about a lot. Tracking is key. Now, going forward, if you have any questions, feel free to email me directly at jc@theheights.com or tag me in any post in the RankDaddy community on Facebook. I'm an active user there and I'm happy to help in any way. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Best of luck.